it's not worth it. We're American, we're weird. You're giving yourself reasons not to do it. We actually thought that we might have to just go back to LA and this entire thing was a bust. Oh my gosh. Let's go cook Nala's food. So most likely this isn't the first why we moved to wherever video that you've seen. And I've seen them all too. And I think there's kind of like a common theme for all of these that are kind of like, America sucks and the American dream is dead and this place is so much better. To be honest, I think that's a little sensationalized. I'm not saying that Vietnam isn't awesome, it is awesome, but I think a lot of these people are kind of like coping a little bit, for lack of a better word, where there are some things that suck about traveling, there are some things that suck about being a digital nomad, and I think they're kind of coping by saying like, everyone that stays in the US is dumb and you're not living to your full potential. I don't think that's true. Everybody has different preferences, everybody has different wants. I do believe that everyone should travel at some point in their life, like really travel, not just like vacation somewhere for a couple of weeks. But let's break down why we decided to move to Da Nang. I've never used one of these mics before, but I think I might be doing a lot of like chopping, so maybe this will be better. Test. So honestly, a lot of our decisions were based around Nala. Well, actually, let me rewind a little bit. So there was a point in time where Kim and I decided that we really wanted to travel. We wanted to travel around the world. We wanted to see everything before we have kids, before we have a family, before we have roots. We wanted to take this opportunity to travel. But specifically, we wanted to travel all around Asia and Southeast Asia. And we knew the traditional digital nomading thing wouldn't work for us. You know, the whole traveling with one backpack or one suitcase, kind of like extreme style, because we have Nala. So we decided on the slow madding approach, right? Slow madding is basically nomading, but instead of hopping every couple of weeks or a month, you're staying in a country for a more extended period of time. And for us, we thought that period of time would be 3 months because generally countries have 3-month visas, 90-day visas, and you can do a visa run and then come back, or you can just hop to a new country and have a new experience. So that was the plan, and Vietnam was going to be our first stop. However, we ended up in Korea. Super long story, but long story short, we went to Korea so that Kim and I can both get like medical work done, just like full body scans. Kim had to get an implant for her tooth, a lot of little things, and it's really, really high quality and pretty affordable in Korea. So we decided to stop by Korea first for 1 week and then fly to Vietnam. However, we got a bunch of paperwork to come to Korea for Nala, and we got a bunch of paperwork to go to Vietnam for Nala. We found that like 2 weeks before we were leaving for Korea that the paperwork for Vietnam doesn't work if you're going from Korea to Vietnam. It only works if you're going to the US, from the US to Vietnam, and we didn't have time to get new paperwork. So we decided last minute, why don't we just stay in Korea then? Korea will be our first stop. So the idea was we're gonna stay in Korea for 3 months, and then we'll hop to Vietnam, and then to the Philippines, and then to Singapore, and then a new country every 3 months. However, after the process of moving to Korea with Nala, we realized this is way too much work. It took us maybe 2 to 3 weeks to get fully settled in Korea, and we felt like it's just way too much work, all the paperwork you have to do, all the running around, and the stress that it gives Nala as well, it's not worth it. So we thought, shoot, what do we do? So we decided we can't live a life where Nala is hopping to a new country every 2 or 3 months. It's just too much, and we decided we're gonna have one home base somewhere in the Eastern Hemisphere, which we decided was gonna be Korea, and we are gonna take every visa run as an opportunity to visit a new country for 1 to 2 weeks. Now, this isn't the slow madding that we wanted to do. We want to live in a country for several months or 2 or 3 months and really be able to get immersed into the culture, immersed into the lifestyle. You can't do that if you're somewhere for only 2 weeks, but this is the compromise we had to make. We decided Korea was gonna be our home base. Every 2 months, so not waiting for the full months to expire, every 2 months we would hop to a different country and explore. And the first country that we went to for our first visa run was Vietnam. So everything was going great. We had a blast in Korea, we had a blast in Da Nang, but then there was an issue with my visa status, and long story short, I found out that I'm only allowed to be in Korea 6 months out of a 12-month rolling period, and therefore Korea would not be a viable option for us to have a home base. Yeah, that was really rough at first. We didn't know what we were gonna do. We actually thought that we might have to just go back to LA and this entire thing was a bust. But then we thought, hey, we were originally going to go to Da Nang anyway. Why don't we just do that? Go back to plan A and go live in Da Nang with Nala. We were worried at first because we thought that Da Nang was going to be a relatively dangerous place for Nala. But the more research that we did, the more we realized there's plenty of dogs here, there's plenty of expats here. Da Nang is a lot more modern than, you know, when Kim used to visit 10, 15 years ago, and it would be a perfectly viable option for us. Set a timer for 11 minutes. All right, we got the whole wheat pasta in. It's gonna be ready in 11 minutes. I'm gonna start chopping some vegetables while that's cooking. And I'll deal with the trash later. Where was I? Oh yeah, we decided to move to Da Nang. I have to add that the reason that we decided to go to Korea first and the reason that we decided to go to Da Nang originally and eventually is that we have a support system in these two countries, or specifically these two cities, in Seoul and in Da Nang. My extended family is in Seoul, so I have cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents in Seoul, South Korea, and Kim as well has extended family, second cousins and second uncles, and in Vietnam, families get really, really extended. But Kim's grandparents were originally from Da Nang, so they have a whole community here. And if it was just the two of us, we wouldn't mind kind of exploring without a safety net. But because we have Nala, we have to be a little bit more cautious, especially since we don't fully know the rules in the area and we don't fully know the cultures, the customs. We really wanted a support system that could kind of intervene if anything went wrong. A lot of countries, actually, I would argue that every country does not value dogs' lives as much as Americans. I think that in America, we've kind of taken it to the extreme where dogs are our family. Like, Nala matters as much to us as someone's kids would. Yeah, we're kind of crazy like that. We're American. We're weird. But the reality is that's not how most countries think. And therefore, dogs don't have quote unquote rights as much as humans would. Let's say, like, hypothetically there's a scenario where someone says that Nala bit them even though she never would bite anybody, and it's our word against their word. Something terrible could happen. Yeah, I mean, that's a short version of the story. Obviously there's like a more sensational version of the story that I could tell where we were tired of the day-to-day and we wanted to travel and we were feeling angsty and we wanted to explore our horizons and believe that there's more to life than sitting at a cubicle. And part of that's true, but in reality, I don't think that the desire to travel should be sparked by some sort of like existential crisis. I think that there should just be a curiosity of how the rest of the world is living. I think it's really important for everyone to travel because I do think it opens up your mind. It helps you break down a lot of preconceived notions. Now I'm rambling. Hey, Nala. Oh, kind of bored. I gotta go wash this mixing bowl real quick. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh. Actually, I accidentally turned on the shower. I was trying to turn on the faucet and I got soaked. Is the mic okay? Well, the back of my shirt is soaked. I only got a little bit on the mic. I don't know, is this okay? I got this part all wet. Is that gonna mess up the sound? ASMR. ASMR. I'm sure it's fine. Let's talk about money, because everybody wants to know about money. Now, the biggest misconception about traveling is that it's expensive. And I'm talking to you guys because most of you guys watching are from the US. Traveling is not expensive. Paying double rent is expensive. Let me explain. The reason that people think that traveling is like this luxurious thing, the reason that people think travel is expensive is because their experience with travel has been that it's expensive. Plane tickets are expensive, hotels are expensive. But the reason it's expensive is that you're paying rent at home. So let's say you go on a trip, you're paying rent at home and you're also paying for a hotel. So you're paying like $3,000 a month for rent, and let's say you go to a hotel somewhere and stay there for a week for maybe, I don't know, $1,000, which is a pretty cheap hotel. It's only like $110, $115 a night. Then now you just spent $4,000 that month on housing. And that's only 1 week of travel. Let me put things into context with you. Hold that thought, let me start another pot of pasta. So for most Americans, your biggest expense is going to be your rent and your car, right? Everything associated with your housing and everything associated with your car as well. So I'm talking about your car payments, your insurance, your registration, fuel, parking, all those things. Think about everything you're spending on your rent, utilities, furniture, everything associated with your housing, and then think about everything associated with your car. Add those together and realize how much money that is. Now imagine that everything stayed exactly the same, but you just didn't have those two things. How much money would you open up per month? That's plenty of money, not only to buy plane tickets, get hotels, but basically to do whatever you want. Have amazing food experiences, be able to get guided tours to sites, be able to splurge a little bit and go to a fancy hotel. And I'm not just talking about more affordable countries. Even going to South Korea, we were spending about half as much money as when we were in LA. Even if you go to more expensive European countries, like let's say you go to Switzerland, right? Let's say you go to Geneva, which is way more expensive than LA. You're not gonna be saving money, but it's gonna be a little bit of an increase. Not as much as you think it would be because you got rid of your car, you got rid of your rent, and all of your big expenses. Just to give you guys one example, let's say you have a car payment, right? Let's say $500, $600. Let's say you're paying car insurance on top of that, maybe $100. Maybe you're paying for parking. We lived in downtown LA where parking was $100 to $150 per car to park it into your own house. You have gas, you have maintenance, you have registration. It's about $1,000 a month to have a car. Of course, you can get it for cheaper, of course you can get it for more, but let's say $1,000 just for the sake of this argument. For a lot of single people, $1,000 a month is their entire budget. Not their car budget, their entire life budget living in Da Nang. And these are not people that are like trying to budget. These are people that are going out and eating every single meal. What does that sound? That's the induction stove, but it sounds so creepy. Anyways, as I was saying, these are not people that are like trying to hyper budget. They're eating out every single meal. They're taking surfing lessons. They're going jet skiing. They're going island hopping. They're taking flights to Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi to take day trips. These are people that are like really living their lives for $1,000 a month. Now I feel like I'm starting to sound like one of those digital nomad shows that are saying like, you have to do it, make the leap, come out here. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying the barriers that you're putting up for yourself, if you're someone that really wants to travel deep down inside, the barriers that you're putting up yourselves, they don't actually exist, at least from a financial standpoint. Most people, the financial aspect is their biggest excuse. It's not a real thing. You're making it up. You're giving yourself reasons not to do it. If you want to do it, just do it. This spinach comes from Australia. Where's the other bucket? More pasta going in. So the first thing holding people back is money. And we agreed, right? That money is not really a barrier, it's something that you've just kind of constructed in your own mind as an excuse. Now, the second thing holding people back, I think, are obligations. And I think this is valid. Let's say you have a company that's location dependent. Let's say you have kids. Let's say you have parents that you need to take care of. Let's just say that there's people that rely on you in general where you need to be physically in the same place as them. I can empathize. We understand that this is going to be something that's going to come up in our lives. Obviously, when we have kids, it's going to be the big thing. But that's the reason we decided so adamantly that we have to travel now, because we might never get this opportunity again. If you're young and you're watching this, I'm saying like younger than me. I know I look young, but I'm a little bit older than I look. Travel now. Like seriously, my biggest regret in life, and I haven't lived that much life yet, is that I didn't travel earlier in my life. I wish I was traveling 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That would have been the prime time to travel. I have a lot of energy. I don't have as much energy as I did 10 years ago. And if you're older than me watching this, I would encourage you still, somehow, I can't give you advice because I'm not there yet, but somehow, if you can find a way to travel, if you can carve out some time, if you can somehow delegate some of these responsibilities, find time to travel as well, it really will change your life. I don't think anybody in the history of the world has ever regretted traveling, unless they got like killed by cannibals or something. Nobody regrets it. And the third thing that I think holds people back is income. I just contradicted myself because I said the first thing is money. I guess the first thing would be that it's too expensive. The second thing is obligation. And the third thing is income. How do you generate an income while you're traveling? Well, the term digital nomad, it gets thrown around a lot. I think it gets thrown around a little bit too much. Digital nomads are basically just travelers that work on their computers. Now, I think we've reached a point in the world where like half the world, or not half the world, half of America at least, works on their computer in some capacity. Obviously, some people have to go into the office, some people can work from home, these kind of things, but for the most part, we all work from our computers. So digital nomads are people that can work remotely from their computers, and they also travel. Now, I don't want to preach about the whole list of things that you can do online, how to find online jobs, those kind of things. Honestly, there's so many guides out there, and I'm not the expert in it. I've actually never had a quote-unquote remote job. I've technically haven't had a traditional job per se for the last 10 years or so. I've been an entrepreneur, so I can't really speak on it too much. But one thing that I can speak on, which I never thought I'd be a person to speak on this, is about YouTube. Yes, you're watching this on YouTube. This is a YouTube channel. This is a YouTube page. I had zero intention of ever making money on YouTube. This was something that I was hoping that 50 years from now, Kim and I can watch with our kids, with our grandkids, with our great-grandkids, and look at these memories fondly. These were also videos that was meant to be watched by my mom back in LA, my family back in LA, and Kim's family back in San Diego. Shout out to all of you guys. We never thought that we were gonna make money. We hoped that people would watch it, we hoped that other people would watch it, but the first video we put out, I think had like 50 views, and I was like, that's so cool, because I don't know 50 people, which means some people that I don't know watch this random video on the internet. Even when we hit 1,000 subs, I didn't monetize the channel because I thought like, who cares? I'm just doing this for fun. I don't want this to turn into like a job or something that I feel like an obligation to do. Even this video you're watching right now, long story, but is not monetized. The last 3 or 4 videos that I put out have not been monetized as well. But I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, travel vlogging, this shit is like, it's good money. I'm actually planning to do a video breaking down the entire YouTube journey, how much money we actually make through ad revenue. Well, it's only ad revenue, we don't do sponsors, but it's pretty good money. Like, I was actually pretty surprised. To give you guys ballpark numbers, when the channel was monetized, the amount of money coming in every month was enough for one single male to live in Da Nang full-time and not have to live frugally. Yes, it was enough to be a full-time income, not in the US, but in Da Nang for one person. Again, right now, the channel is completely not making any revenue. It's a really, really long story. I'll talk about that as well. But if you do want to hear that story and you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. I usually don't like to ask in videos for subs because if you guys are coming back and watching the videos over and over again, it's okay if you guys don't sub. I'm still happy that you're here to view, but I learned that I can't get customer service from YouTube until I have 10,000 subs apparently. So please sub. I'm like really far away from 10,000 subs, but after that, you guys can all unsub. I just need to talk to customer service so I can get this channel monetized again. So yeah, that's the story. I mean, you might be thinking, that's it? That's all the story? That's barely a story. It is barely a story. That's just the intro to the story. And the rest of the story is what's going on right now. The rest of the story is what you guys are watching on this YouTube channel. And we really think that, I mean, it's been 8 months, but it really feels like we're just at the beginning of this journey. We've only been to 2 countries. We're going to Singapore next month for the first time for both of us, so that's gonna be really exciting. We wanna go to the Philippines. Kim's been to the Philippines several times, but I wanna go to the Philippines. We wanna go to Thailand. We wanna go to Australia. Oh, pause is on. We definitely wanna go to New Zealand. We wanna go to Japan. There's so many countries that we wanna go to, and once we've seen every country in Southeast Asia, there's the rest of the world as well. We wanna go to South America. We wanna go to Europe. Do you actually have to peel carrots, or is that like one of those urban myth kind of things? Whatever, I'll peel the carrot. I don't have to peel the zucchini, do I? Well, thanks for listening to my rambling. To be honest, I don't even remember what I said. I'm still compiling questions, by the way, for a Q&A. A lot of great questions that you guys have been asking in the comment section. So if you guys have more questions about anything that I said in this video, or anything about us, our lives, or just about the world in general, if I can answer it, I'll try to answer it in a Q&A video in the near future. I just realized though that I'm doing this like really slowly. I probably have like 2 more hours of cooking left to do, not to mention probably another hour of cleaning. So I'm gonna cut the video right here. As always, thanks so much for your love and support. Hope you guys are great. Hope you guys are healthy. Hope you guys are happy. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.